Welcome to the Coaches Roundtable. I'm George Abraham. You know my partner, Albert Campman. Eddie's on vacay. Albert, it appears that he's looking for Ponce de Leon and trying to find the Fountain of Youth.
In L.A.
That's what we heard.
Well, I know for one thing, he's going to find sunshine. I was there 4 weeks ago now, for a Dodger game, and there wasn't one drop of rain. We came back here.
Every day, every minute.
Every minute. My grass now is above my head.
Yeah.
And I got a landscaper coming in. I know they can't get through your yard. You were talking about your yard.
We got the yard landscape that trying to take the branches to the woods and his shoes fell off.
Stuck in the
This is what we're dealing with. But look, this is a great time of year for us. Now, no high school sports. We know that. We have about a 2.5 month hiatus where the kids are playing on their summer teams or training for next year, whatever. So we have an opportunity to talk a lot about local sports, but not high school sports.
And we do have a follow-up on what happened in the PIAA baseball and softball that really blew my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Kids who have to look at the schedule and say, listen, sports in Pennsylvania do not get done when school ends.
Exactly.
They go a couple weeks later, George, and they plan senior days and vacation days. And guess what they do, George?
No, don't tell me because I got sick this winter. Somebody said this girl went skiing and they had a ball game and I couldn't process it and ended up in this thing on Twitter. I said it's not worth it.
And that's what they do. They went to the beach. The two captains missed their game and left those girls stranded. And the girls who were left to play said, we've played with them our whole life. We would never think they would leave us in the state semifinals or the state finals to go to the beach.
And seriously, I can't process it. You've said to me before, we wouldn't last 10 minutes today.
Dinosaurs.
We've spoken about that. And I just, the word commitment. And you and I talk about this all the time. You're in or you're out. Well, you're not foot in.
No, you're not in. You're not a toe in.
No, you're in.
You have to be all in. And girls and guys, as you watch this, it'd be wiser not to go out for the team. If you're going to leave them stranded
in the state
playoffs, you need to come back someday and look at those girls in the eye for a reunion 5 years from now, and say, aren't you the two that left us and left us stranded? So please, commitment means you're all in at all times. You decide to play. There's no QUIT. There's no stopping. You just keep going on, and that's the way it has to be. So in high school, as we finished the high school season, we had a lot of positive things happen this year. That wasn't one of them, George. No. So let's celebrate the kids that made it all the way through. The guys like Sean Lee, who we always talk about, Sean Lee in Upper St. Clair.
Yeah, playing basketball his senior year, and they said, well, why would you play? He said, my buddies are out there.
Yes. He already signed at Penn State. He could have said, I'm not going to play basketball.
I'm leaving at Christmas.
And guess where he ended up? In the NFL.
Yeah, he's still in the NFL.
He's still playing. He was all in his whole life. That's the way he did it. Somebody else all in right now playing in Omaha are the Michigan Wolverines, led by Coach Eric Bakich. And I thought he said the greatest thing on his interview during mid-game. They asked him about his recruiting. He said, I recruit like it's the United States of America. He says, I don't recruit like it's all travel ball. And George, you know how we feel about AAU and travel. Why wouldn't you recruit like that? Why wouldn't you find a kid in the inner city, a kid on the farm, a kid?
Exactly.
You go all out, and you got to root for Michigan against Vanderbilt because of it.
Yeah. Well, I read something the other day. They had 8 games in when Vandy had 25 or 27 because of the weather. They did the snowfall of the last 10 or 15 champions of the NCAA baseball, and it didn't reach Michigan's Ann Arbor 55 inches this year.
Think about that. And that may be a big reason why the Big Ten had not been represented as a champion since 1966, Ohio State. So it's always SEC. It's always out in L.A. land where Eddie's at.
Yeah.
It's always
UCLA,
warm
Southern
weather
Cal, Texas,
teams.
Florida State. Yeah, it makes sense.
You have to root for the Michigans of the world, but you have to write for them more. That he said, I'm not just going to recruit the people that can pay the money to play travel ball. He made a major point about there are kids who are good enough to play travel ball, but they can't pay the money. Their parents are working 3 jobs just to make it work.
No.
And he decided, I'm going to go recruit those kind of kids. And we're going to have some fun in his dugout, and we're going to play like it is on the playground. You remember your playground days, George?
Yeah, sure. You left the glove on second base so 2 guys could share.
Yes.
Because we didn't all have gloves, remember?
Yeah, nobody in right field. Okay, don't hit the right field.
Field's out.
That's out. And 3 guys, we'll play pitcher's mound, first base.
Yes.
These are the kind of guys he is recruiting. You have to be all in for the University of Michigan, and you have to be all in. As Bo Schembler said, I like a Michigan man, and they're all in.
And let's talk about this coach too. He learned at the knee of the Vanderbilt man. Now here these 2 are in the national finals. And usually that teacher-pupil doesn't go so well for the pupil. But as we sit here, it's 1-0. Now, that doesn't mean Vanderbilt, because Michigan used 3 pitchers all year.
And Vanderbilt will be the favorite still. And it's a toss-up. That tells you Vanderbilt was a 3-1 favorite coming in.
That was too big.
Michigan does not look at the odds. When you're whipping that horse and he's 28-1,
he doesn't know.
He doesn't know he was supposed not to win.
We used to go to track, and I'd say, "Well, I like that one." He'd look at me. I'll go, "Come on." He goes, "He's 35-1." I say, "He don't know that. He doesn't know
exactly.
He's 35-1.
He's just going to run."
Those
and Michigan right now, they're not saying, "Well, you didn't play for the Tomahawks traveling team when you were 12 years old.
Well,
you don't deserve to be here."
This travel ball's out of
Well, it's broken down Little League, and that's what bothers me. Because you and I both, Altoona and Farrell, were big in Little League baseball. It was so exciting to play with your friends. Then leave there and go swimming. Then go to the concession stand and get a snowball. Everything was right there. Go to sleep in your own bed at night.
No more.
These kids playing travel ball, they don't sleep in their own bed ever. They were in Columbus one night.
They have walk-up music.
No, they don't.
Don't they? 8 years old. They have walk-up music. That tells you the apocalypse is here. When you tell me, what song do you want, Junior? Play that funky music, white boy. I'm like, what?
And as he comes up there, he's telling his mom, get my water bottle.
Well, she's carrying his bag. You ever see those bags they have with the
those big bags? My grandkids have them. It makes me gag. I want to tell
That's
Landon
one you don't just run out.
I want to tell Landon, listen.
I don't know how you
bring a baseball glove. That's all you need. They have catcher gear.
I know.
They got ball. They got bat. It drives me bananas.
Well, same with that travel ball thing. You have to have a lot of money, and then the parents end up every weekend in a motel, and they're eating.
Oh no. Money. They think it's only money play.
Here's the best part. You'll like this one. I'm doing a game on the radio last year in playoffs, and before the game, I'm with your buddy, the coach up at Farrell, and Eddie, and phone rings, and they want to know if his center can play on this nonsense travel ball. He says, "Yeah, and they said, "Well, it's $500." He said, "Well, she won't be playing." And he said, hang the phone up. About 2 minutes later, bling, bling. "Coach, we got it covered. Bring her down." I said, "Somebody's paying more. One of those kids that can't play is paying more."
Oh, yeah. What they did is they called the other 9 players and said, "Remember we were charging you $600?"
Yeah, it's $650.
Now $650 now. No question about it.
Tell them, those guys in Newcastle, they meet him on the turnpike with the bag of money.
$20,000.
And as long as
in the trunk. $20,000 in the trunk. And the guy doesn't count it. The guy meets him.
Just thanks.
Say, take a couple thousand. I take a couple thousand. Because he knows he's made so much money. Think about, there are 8 tournaments going on that weekend. Making $20,000 in one tournament.
Yeah, and so they're charging.
You're a math guy, George. $160,000.
Yeah. And they're charging like
they don't charge you to get in.
Big city price. Oh, charge to get in. You'd think you're watching Ben-Hur in 3D or something.
What did Jerome Flint used to say?
Jerome Flint, the guy I followed at George Jr., he had the greatest line in the history of one of these summer league games on some little squeaky court with no out of bounds and the wall was
Yes.
And he said they were JV games at varsity prices. That's what this is. I'm watching it. I'm on Twitter. And they're full court pressing with no idea what they're doing. So the girl's face guarding, and they have a shortstop back, and they set it up perfect where you float over, she steals it.
Right.
Well, she gets it. The other girl's just standing, dribbles twice, crosses over. And the person that put it on is talking about the crossover, and I'm saying, you might want to wake that shortstop up and tell her why she's there.
Exactly.
That's called AA-me basketball, not AAU. AA-me. Look at me.
Oh, yeah, and the worst part about that is we grew up in AAU. It was called the playground.
Yeah.
But at the playground, If you lost, you were off for an hour.
Yeah,
Not today. AAU, they lose by 7 points at 10 o'clock.
Play at 11.
They play again at 11.
Yeah, they don't
so do
care
you
if
think
they
they
win
care
or-
if they lost, George?
No.
They don't care a bit.
No, remember the game point, like, your guy wasn't scoring.
You're tackling him.
No, if you had to knock him down, and you might have to deal with the consequences, but you weren't letting him shoot.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a team that plays that hard. Right now, it's the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, I've been going to the game. I know people call out Clint Hurdle all the time. I want to tell you, I'd vote for him Coach of the Year right now.
Without a doubt.
The other night, Brian Reynolds hit a home run. He was playing for Polanco. Don't forget, he was playing for Polanco.
Yeah.
The first guy running out of the dugout to jump on his back and hug him. Polanco.
I saw it.
You cannot teach that. You cannot make that work unless you have a team that has bought all in.
There's a chemistry and a team. They call it esprit de corps.
Yes.
You can put whatever word you want on it. The synergism. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is this guy's a leader of men.
Yes.
And they've all bought in. And I'm talking about when they have a walk-off, all 25 guys are jumping the fence on a dead run to hug whomever is the person that and this just isn't pro. You see they're fighting in the dugout. They're at each other's throats.
Yeah, the winning teams, the ones that are 54-10 or 20, the Dodgers, they're all happy for sure. Yeah. Like Freeze said, I'm happy as I've ever been. No kidding.
You're 32-9 at home.
You're 32-9 at home. I'd be happy too. It's keeping the teams happy or keeping them playing hard. That's more important. That are struggling to stay around 500, and that's the Pirates, and that's Clint Hurdle. Let's look at the Pirates and what they did. They swept the Padres.
Without a doubt.
A team that came in hot. Just beat Milwaukee three in a row.
Hot.
They just came in. They were down twice, 3 runs, and never had.
I turned the TV off the second time. No, first time I
got you.
I figured, okay. I went back in the computer, and the guy said something like, Stallings. Stallings. I went back because I know he's the last guy in because he's the last catcher.
Right.
And if they put him in, then they don't have a backup catcher. If the catch. By the way, that's the thing you notice about baseball, that last catcher never plays.
Yes.
Because if the catcher were to get hurt, no one could.
We may have to pitch with the Pirates. Because when you're down to the pitching staff, they're down at the end. You may have to pitch. But they are playing hard. They're playing the right way. If they can only go 500 on this road trip and just stay in it, because their league is beating up each other.
You know what I mean? Nobody's 500 on the road.
Yes.
We have
in all baseball, I mean.
In their league.
On their league, okay.
We have a good buddy who comes on our radio show quite often, and we have a problem because the company that he works for is owned by the owner of the Pirates. So we have to talk to him, but be very careful not to call them out. You and I will call them out. They're cheap.
Yes, that's the cheapest they go. You know what's interesting? I was there Faith Night, and the players were there, and the guy they love is nothing. They'll say, we'll run through the wall for him. Just saying, the fans hate him so badly. Yeah. Like, there'll be a battle between the players and the fans because we hate him so because he doesn't put any money out there. Yeah. They love the way he treats them.
And he's so rich.
They love what he does for them. You never think that.
No,
You're thinking of players saying, well, he ain't trying to win.
No.
He's not
No, right now, if you tried to win, you go get a pitcher.
Like the Yankees. They signed Encarnacion.
No.
He's going to make more money in 1 year than half the Pirate fan.
Yeah. And then the ironic thing about the Pirates is 2 guys make 1/5 of the money, and they're the worst 2. Cervelli and the pretty boy pitcher.
Which one is it? Can you think of
Tampa. One from Tampa.
I'm blank on. Oh, Archer. Okay, Archer.
Yeah, Archer.
Are those the 2 high guys?
$15 million out of 70.
Okay. So that doesn't take much.
And their money's not even spread right. That's the worst.
It doesn't take much to get to the bottom of the Pittsburgh Pirates. But one thing they're doing, they're playing the game the right way. And when you talk managing guys, let's understand this. I went to 4 games last week. Both teams played. I followed every game on the computer. There's not one other team that is bunting, that is hitting the ball the other way, or hitting or running. So don't say Hurdle. Why didn't you hurt?
No, it's small ball, and then
the analytics is told every manager how many of them are, whatever there are, 30, 33, 40, 38, 40, whatever there are. Yeah. Every one of them is being told the night before. Here's the way we're playing tomorrow.
85 pitches.
Yes, he's out. I don't care what inning it is.
You know, the Mets now, they just had a little run-in with the press there, and they look really bad. And they're going to fire this manager. Now they're on the general manager for calling down. I said, Charles Finley was calling down 50 years ago. Steinbrenner was calling down when there were holes in the phone.
Yeah. They don't call down anymore, though. That's one they know. It's the night before.
No, they're not allowed to call down either.
It's the night before.
Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah, I agree.
The analytical computer analyst, his assistant, The general manager and the manager meet.
Exactly.
And guess who does all the talking? It ain't the manager.
No.
The manager's saying, okay. What, how many pitches? Who am I using in the 8th tomorrow? Who am I using in the 7th?
Yeah.
It makes me gag.
It's
Lionel
Holland, when he was coaching down in New Orleans or one of those places, he came out on the floor and the analytics guy was on the floor.
He ran him off.
So I beat him off. He got fired. But I mean, you can see why. Like Girardi. Girardi's not coming back to the Yankees for $1 million.
No.
He's got a Northwestern degree. He was making $8 million with the Yankees, and all of a sudden they want to manage from the clubhouse up above in the lows. Well, they can, but he's not going to do it.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of coaches decide to stay in college, because they still are the boss. They're the ones that are making all the decisions. You watch college baseball, you'll see bunting, you'll see hitting and running, you'll see things done, not done in Major League Baseball. And that takes us to college sports and things being done at Pitt right now.
Pitt recruiting. I wrote him a little tweet yesterday. I said, hey, Coach.
Did you dig him?
I got a little bit. It's in me. I can't stop. I said, nice.
That one right here? That angel right here?
I got a devil and an angel. And sometimes the devil's a little bigger.
He's jumping hard.
He's one out. He got it on the way down there. The guy pulled in front of me. So I'm like, I'm looking and I'm like, okay, Coach, congratulations. They're in the top 20-25 for the first time in recruiting. But see, I can't leave it. I have to write, now coach them up. 8 yards passing is not acceptable.
Yeah, you cannot. You cannot be playing 2019 like it's 1928.
No.
You can't do it. They try to do it, and they get in those bowl games, and the fans get crazy because they're saying, Coach, 8 yards passing. Well, Kenny Pickett, I saw him using his footwork. They're working him hard, new coach, new quarterback coach. And I wrote, and this is a couple months back, listen, you might want to put a pass rush in there. Because how many of our players all look good
always
when there's no pass rush?
I read, they go, he's coming up the board in this NFL draft. I'm saying, let me see now. We have 52 game tapes.
Throw those away.
We're going to throw them all in the garbage. We're going to watch a guy jump up on a table in his underwear.
And, he moved up. We really like Harry. Why? His vertical jump was 42. But he can't catch the ball. But he can't cover anybody. But he can jump.
One time the Steelers had that one guy. They took a flyer on him. And the guy said, he only has one problem as a receiver. You think he's going to say, well, he's a little slow.
Right,
he doesn't come out of his break.
He
says he can't catch.
What do you say?
Jeez, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? You know what I mean? Well, if you can't catch, you can't play receiver.
It's the truth. I remember Matt Rake from Monaca, who all the colleges said he couldn't play, and Westminster coach, I met with him, and he said, why did you end up taking him? He said, I put 3 plays on film. In the first 3 plays, he made plays that no one else on the field can make.
Right.
I turned it off and said, we need him. He only became a 4-time All-American when he went there because they found a spot on the field because he could play. Not because I can't find a spot for him. We don't know what to do with him. Yeah. He was just a tremendous football player.
And that's what happens when you get to these places like Notre Dame. We got the kid from Pine Ridge in there. There are a lot of great players there. See, and this is what you run into at this upper echelon.
Yes.
The competition. See, like this, for example, the kid from Kennedy Catholic, he just went to the Toronto Raptors.
Yes.
And I was telling someone today, if you really cared about the kid and not, boy, he stays at my house.
Right.
He would have been in Philadelphia or Washington, D.C. or Cleveland, somewhere where at 6'7", he can see eye to eye with whomever he's playing, or he gets on a team where he has to be the 3-man.
Yes.
Now, he's going to go to the NBA.
Offensive limitations.
Oh, he can't play in the NBA. He's 6'7". He's guard height.
Yeah, offensive limitations. That's what Klay Thompson is. Klay Thompson shoots 30-footers like they're layups, and he's 6'7".
Yeah.
Saginaw is the same height as him.
Yeah.
They're coming in at that part. And you talked about the kid from Pine Ridge going to fans, parents watching our show right now. We're not saying your kids aren't really good.
They're terrific.
But look at the Division III. Go to a game, please. Go to a division, then go to Slip Rock and watch them play.
Yeah,
and then keep up, moving up.
You're the Youngstown.
Yes. And you'll say, oh my gosh.
Remember the day we were at Youngstown? We were doing a TV show over there. And we're coming out of the locker room, and they must have been coming from weightlifting or something. And here come these monsters out. I'm say 6'5", 310,
all of them.
6'6",
all
3.
Of them.
And the Rock is that size. They're ranked number 7 in the country.
Yeah. Coach Lutz told us. He said, "Listen, you want to hear my? You want to hear
we
our
got
size
his starting five.
We got it. He said we're going to average 6'4.5", 315 at Slippery Rock.
Yeah,
that's what. And so they don't realize. So you'll say, "But my kid's really good. I know he's great, but he's a lineman at 5'11". 235 pounds.
Yeah, the guy.
I'm not saying he's not a really good player.
At Westminster started at Slippery Rock as a freshman.
Yeah, so all these Division III teams in this area, and there's a million of them, are recruiting the same players. And I want you to go to a practice and watch how good they are. Please understand, when we had Grove City.
We did our show on Grove City last year. We did our
they're really good
preseason. They end up having their best season ever, 7-3. And we were watching practice, and we're thinking, you know what? Then Ed and I went up and did a game. And they had a couple of receivers. One kid was from Shippensburg. One kid was from Central Valley.
The Drake kid, I know him really good.
Albert catches everything.
Yeah, and there's nothing he drops. He did the same thing in high school, and that's why he ended up playing. And he's a great hurdler in track. It's just the way it is, guys. George and I understand it. When somebody says he only went to Juniata, don't say only.
No.
If you're playing someplace, if you're playing Division III, Division I AA, Division II, I don't care where you're playing, and Division I. Then you're a good player. And if you're going to Division I, you're sensational because this is a big country. And everybody thought for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and we know how good the kid from Pine Richland was good. He was great, not good quarterback.
Great.
No, great, not good, great. But did he step on Notre Dame and play immediately?
No.
No. I mean, you're not getting anybody better than him.
No.
And that's just the way it is. It's a great big country, and when you're recruiting, they are seeing everybody. It's not like the old days, George. You could hide somebody.
You could hide. Like Jack Lambert, he comes in, no one knows where he's from. He's from Kent State.
Well, Steelers made their reputation on that.
Donnie Shell, they used the black colleges. Joe Green, North Texas State.
Right down the line.
See, all these guys today are in the magazines.
Every single kid in high school and in college is being seen. And social media. Go to social media. You'll see that. Now, we can talk about the positive of social media, because you see all the good things. But, George, I'm tired of a kid putting 13 different jerseys on.
No, different hats.
And saying, I'm blessed to receive an offer from Michigan.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. We don't need to see all that.
No.
I don't want to see that.
And not only that, that's part of the adults, the ESPNs of the world that cover the press conferences. And I like the old-timer at Aliquip. He said, we don't do that at Aliquip.
They've had enough pros.
And they have enough pros
they have enough
to back it up. I could see maybe somebody being excited it never had a pro.
I just talked to somebody that Coach Warfield down and said, how are you going to be this year? He said, no, he's real soft-spoken. I think this will be the best line we've had in the last 10 years.
Think about, and he's humble.
No,
That's what we like.
Real quiet. I think he's going to, and his son, by the way, is playing for Central Valley. And look out, they just went flying up the radar. Yeah. And one of the favorites in the WPL because he had a full ride to Liberty. And Liberty, if you watch Liberty play this year in the tournament, they were outstanding.
Now let's talk also too something that's in the news, this PIA transfer thing. Bernstein, we happen to know Bernie from when he played at Union.
I know him real well.
He was on Butler Radio Saturday, and it was basically the same conversation you were listening to today on the way in. Just share a couple ideas, talking about the public and the private. And you and I both feel, unless they make the charters something different.
It has to be a part of it.
Because the charters are public schools.
Yeah,
and they're the issue.
Yeah, I see that. And I truly believe he is making it's a basketball issue to him.
Yeah.
It's a basketball issue.
Yeah.
So if you're going straight basketball issue and not going, it is truly the charter schools. It is not. You'll have a Vincentian and you'll have a Kennedy Catholic,
North Catholic, and girls,
and North Catholic and girls. But after that, but you get down to there and you play charter schools. No. You may have a great team. Always saw it. Hickory and Sharon both. Yeah.
Hickory.
It's a 35-point line.
30 points, and Sharon goes down. Sharon won 23 games in a row 2 years ago.
Didn't have a chance.
Went down and we're down 30-2.
Yeah, didn't have a chance.
Now that tells you, that competition, that field's not equal, because if you're in charge of that PIA and you see a 30-point game, there's something wrong with your tournament.
Yeah, there should never be a game like that ever. Down there.
After the
They're supposed to be the two best teams, or the four best teams left. They should be down and equal. So we see it as a charter school issue, not a parochial school issue as much. And we've always been on the parochial school show, and we get Carmen makes fun of us.
Yeah, we tease
because we tease about it. But I'm telling you, it's more of a charter school basketball now.
Oh no, basketball.
Yes,
I'll say the same thing.
Yes.
And you'd think people would understand, but it's a local issue. It doesn't hit us here as much because there aren't that many. There aren't very many charters around here. You have to go to Propel.
Lincoln Park's. It's one of those that.
Yeah, it's not. It's
by the way,
an hour and a
they
half.
do have their best team coming back.
Yeah,
Lincoln Park's going to be. They're going to bulldoze teams. There's no question.
Hey, listen, we got a few minutes left. NBA draft. Zion Williams. He's probably worth $100 million already just in endorsements with that big smile and the fame, which is one reason when these kids go to college, even though they only go for a year, he built a brand.
Yeah, his brand is set. And Dougie Tammerhose is the SID at Arizona State. His hardest work done is teaching these kids how to talk. He spends hours on how to interview correctly, so you can get these endorsements. So you know what to say, how to say it, how to respect everybody involved. And that's a big job today because these kids have been catered to so much.
He had James Harden.
Yes, he did.
And
he's great friends with James Harden.
See, and I don't think when he left they knew he'd be this.
No, he
is as great.
Oh, no, he's taken off. Yeah, he's
27 games with 30 or more points.
Yeah, he's taken off to be as I said, my grandkids again, they do the Harden move. I said, what's the Harden move? Codi will stand there and dribble 17 times in a row through his legs. I said, listen, and you stepping back too? He said, I'm doing a step back too. But the NBA draft, my favorite player is Kobe White. I'll go out and say it. George always says, it's an opinionated show. Tell your opinion. Kobe White's the best player in this draft, not Zion Williamson. You're going to hear Kobe White is going to be the rookie of the year next year, unless Zion gets all this pop. Because the NBA, he's just not going to run through and knock over every NBA player.
And let's talk local, too. Cam Johnson.
How about that?
He's at Pitt. Lee's Pitt just didn't want to play for Coach Stalling. Whatever it was.
None of the kids wanted to play for him at that
time. But anyhow, as it turns out, he goes to Carolina for 2 years, and he makes a name for himself. He goes, 10th or 11th in the draft. Now, that in itself is quite an honor, but he's 23 years old.
Yeah, WPIL 2, Division 2, got into the top 12 in the draft and did it by skill work and lifting weights. He was not a 5-star coming out. So what he did is I said, I'm going to become the best shooting 6'8" kid in the draft, and I'm going to get in the weight room so they can't beat me up. Guys watching, you can do it. Now I know you have to be 6'8". I'm not talking about a 5'8" kid, but if you want to, you can become the best you can be in this area. And congratulations to him for doing that, George.
Yeah, and it appears that we say Pitt basketball on the right track. The football you're reading the recruiting.
It's tough. You better be on the right track.
But in basketball, it's hard because local players, we have the Morton kid going to Purdue.
Right.
We haven't had a big-time player in this area. We had Carmody, but other than that, we've had maybe two or three.
And we'll say it again. We say it all the time. If Pitt and football can go 7, 6, 8, and 5, we think that's an outstanding year because of not as many local kids. And Pitt basketball, if you can get in the top 5 in that league, you're the coach capable. You're the coach of the year, no question. When you get in the league with the likes of Duke, Carolina, and all those.
Were you disappointed that Pitt didn't get in on the local kid?
They tried hard.
Ethan Morton.
They tried
It wasn't going to happen.
They tried. They lived with him.
And he's made their recruiting class, by the way, 8th in the country.
Yeah, he did.
That's all we need to know. He's quite a player. Hey, thanks again for watching the Roundtable. Next week we'll be back with Eddie Codi on the Roundtable.